what's up, everybody? You are back with your boy James. This is an extended Saturday, as you see, so we are back yet again. We have an amazing artist in the studio with us. He is live. Really grateful to this man because he's doing so much to make sure that I'm able to bring you guys these amazing conversations, these amazing interviews, and you're getting the opportunity to learn about the different things that these amazing people have going on. So who we're talking about today, if you're already asking, we're talking about Mr. Alvin Garrett, amazing artist. He's done so much in this industry over a great amount of time. I'm not gonna put no numbers out there, but just he's been out here, he's been killing it, he's doing amazing things, and this is not the first time that he's been on the platform, but I'm happy to welcome him back. So, Mr. Garrett, thank you for coming in on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to dive into it.
Absolutely. Um, we got about a good probably about 25, 30 minutes, but I just wanted to obviously take this time to bring you in because of course you have the new project going on, which is doing really really amazing, as all of your projects do, but there's a natural progression that we can see like between each project, and of course because I get the opportunity to do like the virtual listening parties and that sort of thing, like it's cool to be able to see, for this project, here's where you were and this is what you put together, and then when we get to the next project I can see all of the growth. I can see everything that
Mm,
has kind of transpired in between, and simply put, it's amazing, man. So welcome.
uh,
Kind of let everybody know who you are.
well, man, I am, of course, Alvin Garrett. I am from the great state, say that lightly, Alabama, the great state of Alabama. We're not the most popular in the world right now, but I am proud to be a Southern boy
Yeah,
because there's still something beautiful about having Southern roots and the charm that comes along with it. I'm a preacher's kid, coal miner kid. Uh, Stay at home mom, but started a real estate business kid. Two parents who loved each other and just gave me that foundation of faith, love, and hope that it transpired. It really uh, just comes through my music,
yeah,
just being around two parents, 48 years, and I have to brag on them because that's 48 years of love and hope and guidance that I have from my parents. And so everything about who I am is about extending their legacy. And so I do that through my music, the spirituality that people hear in my music, the romance and the way I treat women in my music, the way I speak to my brothers in my music. Um, it all comes from my upbringing in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
absolutely.
Play sports, linebacker. So I'm aggressive. I get after it. When it got to a point where I couldn't hit people no more, I was like, let me find another way to stay aggressive. And I shifted that energy and aggressiveness into my music career, which has landed me a lot of awards and opportunities to work with some amazing artists, to
Absolutely.
tour as a bass guitarist, all over the country, but to also continue down the path of writing my own music, finding my own voice, and being here as Alvin Garrett, the artist. So that transformation goes all the way back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, all the way to Birmingham, where I've been living for, quite some time in my adult life, where I've started my family, got two little girls, and now, hopefully they will extend my legacy one day as well.
Absolutely. Um, through your music, I think that you touch so many people out here. I know that I've told you on a number of occasions, like there's something about just the presentation and the quality of your music that I feel has been missing in the R&B world for a long time. I know I talk about this a lot when we do like the virtual listening parties and whatnot. Um, how important has it been for you to kind of keep like that same sense of music that was around back in the 80s and the 90s, and you think of a lot of the other R&B artists, Bobby Brown and just different people who were out like 80s 90s and really soaring with their music. You don't really necessarily hear music like that anymore, but you've done really good to kind of bottle that up and kind of roll with that through your projects?
It hasn't been easy, because as a writer, there's so much pressure, to write what's trendy, to write what they tell you people want, right? It's like, hey, this is what's hot, this is what's on the radio. So if you're one of those people that are trying to get on, you're technically following somebody else's trail.
Right.
You're never in front if you're listening and then replicating. And so, as in the earlier portion of my career, it was very difficult because I knew what I wanted to write. There was so much pressure to write for people or submit something like this, but it's always a replica of what somebody else had already done.
Right.
And that always bothered me because I wasn't raised that way. I was raised to be my own man, listen from above, listen from within to hear something fresh. I always had my own ideas, and I had to fight for that, to get into a place where I could afford to be in the music business, in the entertainment industry, could afford to say, nah, I'm gonna stick to my guns. So I had to start different types of music businesses where I had a wedding band. You know what I'm saying? I had a wedding band and a studio. So I played and did that for 20 years, where as I'm promoting my own music, I'm also playing for weddings on the side where you might not see it, but I'm making enough money to pay for the family, but also to stick to my guns.
Right.
You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? So as a business person, I had to do a lot of work to stand my ground, to say, nah, I'm not gonna sell out. I'm not gonna take my clothes off. I'm not gonna talk about women this way. I'm not gonna abandon my faith. And I'm not gonna go all the way gospel. I'm not gonna be a preacher. I'm gonna be Alvin Garrett. And I feel that that is what is missing from R&B, in my opinion, is that back when soul music was soul, there was a lot of courage that went into that music to say, I'm going to sing about the drugs in the neighborhood. I'm going to sing about the racism. I'm going to sing about these sociological issues. I'm going to sing about what I'm feeling, and I'm going to be courageous enough to do it. You know what I mean? And you feel it. You feel something there.
Absolutely.
But when you just sing about sex, when you just sing about having a good time, or just sing about what I like, sometimes things that can be surface, then you start missing the soul. You know what I'm saying? You start missing that depth. And so it took a lot of courage to be in the place where I could, like you say, get a brand and get the respect, and also be able to be successful financially in the entertainment business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, your current project, your current project, Safety. I think that you did
Yes.
really amazing with that project. Again, we can see all of the progression. We can see the beginning all the way up to this point. What was so? What do you think was so unique about this project as you were putting it out?
Well, this project was the first time that I sort of wrote music that was inspired by relationships outside of my own world. Like I work with in Birmingham. I over the past couple of years got into working with populations that have been impacted by the criminal justice system through a nonprofit agency that I work with called the Dannon Project. And the goal is to reduce recidivism in short version of it. And I found myself in serving also being touched and becoming friends with people I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up on that side of the tracks. Like I told you, my roots. Didn't even think that people who weren't from where I'm from would be interested in me or my music. Or I don't have tattoos. I don't sag my pants. So sometimes you're told that, but if you don't relate, folks won't get down with you. But that's totally wrong.
Right. Right.
It was the genuine love that I had for people that drew them to me and drew us to each other,
Right.
to where we started bonding and becoming family. And I said, wait a minute, there is something I can give. There is something I can contribute to helping other people change their lives. It's not about looking like them or being where they're from or going through what they've been through. It's what can I bring to your life that lifts you? And in doing so, it I learned a lot, and I heard things that I didn't experience, and it began to translate through my songs. So I have a song called Beyond the Cage, and it's from a gentleman who was locked up, who told me about what it's like to get out on the yard and how he's balancing his scales. Like he's saying, hey man, every day I'm trying to do something good to outweigh the bad I've done in my life. So he calls it balancing the scales. So just pulling a lot of inspiration from stories up close. And safety is SFTY, and it's an acronym for Songs for the Yard. you know, and it led me to a place like, okay, where's my yard? Where's my space where I can get out and be free? Where can I be vulnerable, emotional, and shed a few tears myself and not have to be hard and smiling all the time?
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
If you listen to my music and follow me, I always flashing them dimples. That was my thing. I just I just flashing them dimples, I don't scare nobody. But this time I decided to let myself not smile on my album cover. Like just be serious because I'm not smiling all the time.
Right.
I have serious moments as well. And so it allowed me to find some freedom in just being of service to other people who needed freedom.
I think it's really, I say dope all the time, but I think it's really dope because people get to see that human side. Like it, if you look,
Yeah.
from the outside looking in, and if you look at the surface of people, and obviously with what you're doing with the Dannon project, it can easily look as though like you don't relate to each other and you don't really have anything in common. But the reality is, a lot of us are going through a lot of the same stuff, and we just
That's
deal
right.
with stuff differently. So a lot of these, people that you have the opportunity to work with, they may have taken certain things that maybe you've dealt with too, and they may have dealt with them the wrong way or whatever. But just because of where they are doesn't mean that they don't need somebody to kind of be there for them and listen to them and understand and not judge them. And I think that's why, obviously there is that immediate connection, when you're doing that type of stuff. And then I think that helps even in terms of your career, because again, people see that human side, and it's not a lot of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're here in the industry, so you see where the industry has gone, and what the focus is for so many people, and it's lacking the human side. Like it's lacking the human side. So I think that's really
I,
good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Now, I
I think.
appreciate you saying that because that's something core in me is about. I call it rehumanization. We hear so much about the dehumanization, especially of
Yeah,
Black people. But the rehumanization process is something totally different, where you take a person who may be a statistic and turn them into a story. And that's one of the goals of this project and all of my promotion is to tell the stories of people who may otherwise be statistics. You know what I'm saying? And just checking the box and saying, writing people off. But no, if you see that father, if you see that brother, then you start changing your heart and they become, like you said, they become more human to you because you can relate. And so I
absolutely.
appreciate you even feeling that in the music.
Yeah. What was your? I guess I want to say, what was your overall goal with this project? Like it's been out here for a little bit of time, and I think that it's doing amazing. But when you set your sight on obviously putting this out and pushing it to the masses, what was the goal that you had in mind with this project?
Interesting enough, man, when I didn't plan this album, I didn't plan it. It just it fell on me and I went with it. Um it truly was it caught me off guard. And so and it was tough because because I'm a marketer and I'm thinking, man, how am I gonna do a concert with this music? This ain't concert music. you know, what's the show gonna look like? And I had to just honestly be obedient because it's what I feel the good Lord led me to do. And it challenged me to say, well, this is gonna be different. And I have some opportunities opening up for me that I was not expecting to open up. And I'll be announcing some things very soon that were never in my plans. But that's a part of this journey for me is to say, well, let me give this one a shot and be pure to the music. Just be pure to the music and not so much of what I want to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? But what are people going to get when they hear it today, tomorrow, or a year from now? What would they experience? And let that be. That's art. You know what I'm saying? Just let it be. And so I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a hurry to feel like I got to get a certain number of streams. Because sometimes that can get you to lose focus and get away from your mission. And
Absolutely.
so this is a mission. This is a mission-based project for me. It's not a put a meal on my table kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed, and I'm not in a place where this project is one where I'm like, I gotta promote. I gotta pace myself and let people hear this music and learn these stories. So I have some wonderful things that are going to be happening here in the spring and in the summer that I think are going to help tell the story of the people that I'm serving.
Definitely dope. Anybody who is just now tuning in, I really want to stress to them and really just encourage them, obviously to pull you up online, to check out your music and really look at the history of what you've done. I think that you've done an amazing job just in terms of obviously putting the projects together, but then kind of the background piece of it, with the marketing and the promotion.
Mhm.
I think that you've been very meticulous just in terms of how you push your projects and how you promote them, even down to the virtual listening parties, which obviously came about because of the pandemic, but it's something that you have continued because I would imagine what you've seen from those is that you kind of get a group of people in the room who have the opportunity to listen to the project and then say yay or nay, or this is good,
Right.
this is why I like that, this is why I don't necessarily like that, and then it gives you that ability to kind of go back to the drawing board, work on some more stuff, maybe add 3 or 4 more songs if we get lucky enough. um,
Yeah.
Looking back at your process of putting the projects together and then actually doing the marketing piece and the promotion piece and getting it out there, what are you most proud of about that? Because when you look at the industry and you look at different artists, a majority of them are not that deeply involved in the process. Like they
Hmm.
put the music together, like they are the artist. So they put the music together and then somebody else is handling that piece. But when you
Right.
see all the success you're having, you're able to kind of look at it and see that this is because of you. This is because of the things that you've done. So like what are you most proud of about that?
The relationships. Just it's the relationships of people like yourself that appreciate being invited behind the scenes and say, okay, you know what, I'm special. And you never take for granted. And I've been around a lot of, like say stars per se, but I was that fly on the wall at the time. And so I've learned, if nothing else, never take anybody for granted because there were some people 15 years ago that I saw get blown off that are major right now that I watched people blow off because at the time they weren't there yet. And so there was this whole comeback when you're there. So I've always said, I know people are going to overlook me, but I've always told my publicist, my team, I said, anybody that takes time for me, I'm treating them like they the next person on the bill. I'm treating them like kings and queens because you never know who you're talking to. And so that's my way of showing people like you that no matter where I go, where I blow, that you help me get there. And that's a special relationship when you have people like yourself who can always turn around and say, "Oh no, that's a good dude. I know him. I feel him, and I'm gonna support him." And as I blow, I'm reaching back, right? That connection, and so those relationships that come from letting people know that you appreciate them in their journey. So I appreciate you in your journey and everyone that has been a part of mine because we're doing it together. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And not everybody gonna pull you up. Sometimes you got to
Right.
pull each other up
Right. Absolutely.
along the way. So we're growing together, you and I, and everybody that's been a part of my journey. And that's how you build legacy over time. Is you can say that, hey, I got people I can call next year
Right.
who gonna say, oh, I remember you from 5 years ago. You treated me with respect. You know what I'm saying? You didn't look at where I was and act like you were too big for me. And
Absolutely.
so that part is what I love is that folks can say, nah, that's a humble dude. you know, it no matter how big he gets, he's humble, and that means a lot. And not everybody can say that about artists because you don't get a chance to see that part.
Absolutely. It definitely goes both ways, and you did good with getting Tangy because she's got a way of making you feel real special, like you somebody when she say, "Hey, Alvin wants you to be on this video, or he wants you to be on this call," And when she reach out to me, she know the right thing to say, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm there.
Yeah. But that's how I feel when you say yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's how I feel when you say yes, because you work hard to get your audience, and for you to share that with me and share my music with them, it's an honor. You know, be it one person, 1,000, 1,000,000, it's the same feeling and the same principle. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
And so I take that to the stage. If I'm singing to one person or to 1,000 or 10,000, I'm gonna give it the same. You know, I'm gonna
absolutely.
treat it the same way because yeah.
So this project, before we get ready to close out, man, this project, like you got some really serious bangers on here. You got I'm Still, you got Till I Get Back to You, um, Time Machine, of course, but I think the song that's like really hitting with a lot of people right now is Fingerprints. And of course, you got the video out there for Fingerprints. So kind of talk just a little bit
Mm.
about that song and the video, that's obviously out there now.
Yeah, fingerprints is a spiritual concept that I had long ago. I actually was gonna write it as a worship song for, for another group, but I held on to it. And it's this concept of when things are falling apart in your life, and then you just think about like a crime scene, how every day come in the dust for prints to kind of figure out the story. But you can find the criminal's prints and say, oh, somebody broke in and stole something. But what you find amongst those prints are the people that live there that are there all the time. And so this song is about our lives and where we look at the things that have gone wrong or fell apart, and we want to give the enemy credit for the bad things. But amongst those situations, you're gonna find God's fingerprints there too. You see what I'm saying? So I always say people may have you thought they were walking out, but dust for prints on their back. Maybe you'll see God's hand push them out of your life. Or if a door was closed, don't cry about it. Dust footprints on that doorknob. Maybe the good Lord slammed that door to keep you from going in the wrong door. So fingerprints is that concept that whatever happens to me in my life, if I trust that his hands are there, then I can find his prints if I look a little closer. You know what I'm saying? And so that concept is very, very encouraging for people if you believe that the good Lord, if that's your thing, or whoever you believe in, is always looking out for you, even when things are going bad. Just look a little close and examine and look for that silver lining in every situation.
Only an artist like yourself could put that together. Like that's hot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's my thing, man. And that has encouraged me. And I hope people, when they listen to that song, that it encourages them. It's like, is it falling in place or is it falling apart?
Right.
It's all about your perspective and who you believe is in control. And you know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Especially at those low points. That's what it's really about. At the low points, can you
Absolutely.
find a comforting presence in your life?
Okay. So what is next now?
Well, next, man, I'll give you a little peek, man. We're taking my songwriting program called the Right Life, and this project we're taking it on the road. We're working with some organizations in different cities where we're going to be working with their youth and bringing them into the show, helping them through my songwriting therapy program write their own music, but also be a part of the production and the presentation in the communities where they are. And so, really taking the mission of my music and how I write, and bringing young people into that positive atmosphere where they can share their stories, write music, and present the music to their communities. I'm taking that on the road. I've been doing it here in Birmingham for a couple of years. I'm excited about taking it on the road, and I'll make sure, of course, you're going to hear about it because I'll make sure Tangie knows when we announce the tour and that what we're going to be doing here in the spring and the summer.
I think that's awesome, man. I just want to say thank you again for taking the time. And as I said in the beginning, man, this is all I've ever wanted to do. So I appreciate always having the opportunity. I appreciate the opportunities that you extend just in terms of the virtual listening parties and really getting up to speed with your projects and the different things that you have going on. I tell you every time I talk to you, man, anywhere you guys can fit me or you need some help or you need something done, all you got to do is say it. So I appreciate you.
Yes.
Obviously, I appreciate Tangi as well. any type of final words, final comments that you want to get out there, and then also if you want to plug your social media.
Absolutely, man. AlvinGarrett.com to go check me out, learn more about me. My social media handle is the Alvin Garrett. That's not that Alvin Garrett. My dad's name is Alvin Garrett. Don't go for that one.
Right.
The Alvin Garrett. Look me up on your social media platforms, but all your streaming platforms. Just go look up Alvin Garrett, and not only listen to Safety, but all of my other projects. Just go on a journey over a decade worth of great music that I hope you get into. But I definitely want to leave this with everybody listening. You know, we're living in a time where people are losing hope and losing faith. Just simply don't don't give up on the hope that keeps us human, right? Don't give up on that, because if you get close enough to other people, you'll realize that the internet will lie to you. The internet ain't always telling the truth about other people, and that's from all walks of life, gay, straight, black, white, rich, poor. If you get close enough to another human being to be touched, you realize they're just like you in so many ways. So keep that hope that makes us human, and we'll survive this. We will. I believe it
Absolutely.
if we just get close to each other. You know what I mean?
All right. Thank you so much, man. Once again, I appreciate you. We'll definitely do this again. You have an awesome day, man.
You too, my brother. I really appreciate you.
All right.